Welcome back to the Girls Who Get What They Want podcast with your host, Mila Duffy, as we create a cozy environment for us to embrace the selfish desire of being able to have the life that we want, to get the life that we want, and to be whoever we want, because we are all capable and worthy of success, just as we are, and all that good stuff. And we are here to build the tools to help you live your happiest and wealthiest life, just because, vibes and all that jazz. This is not your usual self-help podcast, because along with talking about self-improvement and life advice, we steer away from usually traditional post-grad career advice stuff that probably all of you guys are so tired of hearing if you're in that situation. So I like to make sure to avoid it, or to at least make it unique or put a spin on it. I'm not in that post-grad area yet, because I'm trying to get into grad school, which is going to be epic and super exciting. But let me actually do my little tidbit and my TLDR, and then I'm going to tell you how awesome this is going to be. And I am actually going to do a little bit of skincare as we do it, because it is, after all, 9:20 p.m. So we might as well go ahead and get straight into it with our beautiful microfiber cloth. Basically, if you don't know already, we love to talk about being a multifaceted woman on here, and how basically in itself, from a patriarchal standpoint, there are structures in place in society that just do not want women to be happy, that do not want women to be free, and also do not want women to be multifaceted. We're always wanting to be one person to someone. We're always going to be one thing to someone. And this is all just to reject that, to embrace multifacetedness, which is actually the topic of today's podcast. We are going to talk about the curse of what it means to be a multifaceted woman, glow up journeys, glow up inspirations, academic glow up, and especially revenge stories. And if that is an actually good reason to glow up, and also the other reasons and origin stories to a good glow up in general. And when I mean glow up, I don't just mean beauty and looks. It can be multifaceted as well in a lot of different ways. But what I really mean is simply the inspiration for a glow up. What is the key current event? What is the Roman Empire? What is the critical imposing event that leads to this outcome? TLDR, makeup is off. Since I'm wearing super lightweight makeup, I'm just using the Bioderma micellar water and a microfiber cloth. I had a girl that has acne that I talk to sometimes, when I'm at the Starbucks working on my Substack, and she's like, no, I can't do a microfiber cloth. And I'm like, no, you mean these, the really fluffy, soft ones for your face, not the one that's in your car. She's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, if you're going to spend money on Laneige, you could spend money on one of these. Girl, it'll change your skin. It's okay to not use a cleansing oil, in my opinion. My golden rule, as someone who's acne prone and works in the beauty industry part-time, and that is, if you are wearing less than 5 things on your face, then it is definitely okay to use a micellar water, in my opinion. But if you're wearing full coverage stuff, waterproof stuff, and you happen to be wearing or you happen to be wearing more than 5 things on your face, I would recommend an oil-based makeup remover and or double cleansing as well. But let me go ahead and get straight into it. Basically, the curse of being a multifaceted woman is simply there, because it's not much that we don't want women to succeed. It's a little bit more complex than that. It's actually the fact that I have this very core belief that one of the things that we do when we perform our femininity is give advice. And because of the societal structures in place, the advice that we give can absentmindedly reinforce these societal structures that keep people in their place and reinforce a hierarchy that is otherwise not very inclusive, especially in power and shared responsibilities, and also within just general spotlight wow factor kind of stuff, low key. So I personally think that no matter what, especially even if you're not a girl performing her femininity, sadly, when we are caregivers, advice givers, we accidentally put these structures in place. A lot of women of color academics refer to this as white feminism, or performing white femininity, where these women in the higher up of this, sadly, hierarchy, because of intersectionality, they will sometimes give advice that will excuse men's behavior, that will encourage women of color to not speak back to the gatekeeping that happens in the academic community. So that's a very core example of that. Professor Pindi has a really good essay on that I've quoted many times, and also she's my professor, so I'm a stan, guys. I'm such a stan. Fine. But basically, when we do that, I can't help but absolutely notice. This is so important. We definitely imprint our own limitations onto other people. And it is our responsibility, sadly, sometimes to really think critically of what someone is saying, know for a fact that it's not always malicious, and to think that really, in the end, people like to imprint their own limitations onto us and not anything else. Legit, because they can't do it. They think they can't do it, therefore other people can't, because they're not superhuman, therefore no one's superhuman. And that's the thing, nobody is superhuman. We have the ability to falter. We have the ability to give each other grace. We can give us grace when we are lacking. If we're high achieving people, we have to perfect giving us grace, because there are things behind closed doors that we don't like to reveal, which sometimes, yeah, we do need a break. Sometimes, yeah, we use ChatGPT to summarize a document. Sometimes, we take a day off work. We call a sick day just to do other stuff. Sometimes we get takeout instead of cooking. Sometimes we don't make good decisions with money. We need to give each other grace, especially if you're a high achieving person. And I especially believe that the pressure is on, and a lot of the pressure is put on us as a society, especially as women, because there is a double standard for us to succeed. Like, for example, women are leading in academia. More women are going to college, more women are graduating college, more women have better GPAs than men. Men are basically not graduating college, going to trade school, dropping out of college, all that stuff. And some of them are not even finishing high school. Basically, we are outperforming men in a lot of these areas, especially in careers in some capacity, although some stats are manageable in my opinion to not be true, especially because after COVID, I feel like women have been falling back, especially as women decide to have children, to be married, and all those other more structures that are put in place as well that create barriers of entry for promotions if we choose to go to the classic 9-to-5 illusionary route. But basically, that's all because of the pressure that's on us. We have this secret and inkling double standard where people imprint their own limitations onto us. Basically, it is up for us to face the challenge of that, especially for us as girls. So it's a very imperative thing that I notice. That's why we have so many high achieving women. And that's why we have to focus that if we desire to be a multi-passionate, multifaceted woman, where we can have someday a Wikipedia page that's really long, where we can basically be Barbie with all of her careers, where it could be like, scientist, astronaut, activist, author, beauty icon extraordinaire, whatever Brendan Rock says, which I am just so, I eat that up. I'm like, nom, 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 nom. But for me, I also like to think of it like my big three, which is if I had to not show up for the world, if I had to not try too hard, if I had to give my big three, like this is what would be like on like a social media profile if you could only do 3 words. You didn't have to try too hard because you already take up space in the best possible way. You have a presence naturally and you don't have to prove yourself in any way. What would your big 3 be? Mine would probably be showrunner, writer, and entrepreneur, because I want to produce TV shows, I want to act a little, and I love academia. So I would probably put in writing or academic and somewhere in that thing. But see, multifacetedness, that's the curse. We have to be taken seriously because us as women, we have this double standard where we are expected to be one thing. So when we are multifaceted people, it is harder for people to get that across because they imprint our own limitations onto us in those societal structures, which keep us from sometimes realizing that we are capable and worthy of success and capable and worthy of having the life that we want. Yes, you can go ahead and basically have a beauty brand and you can be a fantasy author. You can design board games if you want and then also be an actress. You are allowed to be multifaceted. You do not have to be one thing or other. It doesn't have to put someone through a whiplash. You can be exactly who you are. And if someone keeps getting put into a whiplash, that's a whole nother story for another time. And this podcast is important as well because I've learned that there's a lot of these structures in place where you women have to worry about being seen as scatterbrained when really when a guy happens to have red yarn and string, to the wall, they're like, oh, this, and this. And then suddenly they're like a genius, but we're still laughing at them. Well, with us, we're cuckoo bananas. And I'm like, no. But let's actually go into how to speak back when, like, politely, ideally when we notice that someone's imprinting their own limitations onto us. So if someone's imprinting their own limitation onto us, there's a few things that I recommend that you can do. Well, first off, number one is self-awareness. Number two, if you let it happen, self-forgiveness. The journey to, I think, womanhood is simply learning self-love and also continuously relearning it and forgiving yourself over and over and over again in some capacity. And I think that's a very imperative part, actually, of all forms of adolescence and young adulthood as well, on top of that. But really, there's a few core things. Number one is awareness. And number two is being aware that it's not always about you, but sometimes it is. But what if it is? Just like a little bit of incomplete Taylor Swift lyric. But seriously, like so seriously, I can definitely know for a fact that one of the reasons that someone might want to experience a glow up is because they have absentmindedly been dubbed the duff. Not even of a friend group, of a person. It doesn't even matter. A duff doesn't have to be dumb, ugly, and fat. That was a big thing on TikTok. And I can guarantee you that the girls who think they are not dumb, ugly, and fat. And there's nothing wrong with being fat, and there's nothing wrong with being non-traditionally attractive. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that because there's no such thing as the ugly girl. There is such thing as ugly men, but I think all women are drop dead gorgeous. And of course, since we're staying up late, I'm going to take the Province Beauty Super Fresh Brightening Eye Serum. Comes with this beautiful steel tip. None of this is sponsored. This is just my usual wind down routine. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take some silicone reusable eye masks that are not Pacifica. Shocker. I actually don't like the Pacifica ones because they're really thick, and they just like weigh my face down a lot and they fall off really quickly. But let me go ahead and get into it. First off, having that realization that sometimes we as humans, we want control. We want control over our lives, over our own narrative, over a lot of things. That is really, really normal. And it can be as small as making sure that we have the right amount of sprinkles on our ice cream cone, or making sure that they give us the right order at a fast food place, all the way from that to maybe wanting one of our friends to not have it all together to make us feel better. That's a really important thing that we do, especially I feel like a lot of girls do without really realizing it. And I've definitely lost a few friends that way, like for sure. Absolutely. But really, we have to keep in mind that sometimes people just genuinely do not want you to be happy. And sometimes people genuinely do not want you to succeed. They don't want you to be in a better place than them because it challenges their perspective. It challenges them, and it causes them to have to rethink their place in society and if they need to do more or be more than they've always been. And honestly, that's healthy. I'm a firm believer that if you have a friend that's getting a massive glow up, academic, physical, beauty, career, and all these opportunities and magnetism is rubbing off on them, you stay friends with them. You cheer them the frick on. Why? Because that beautiful, gorgeous, lovely, golden luscious of luck will rub off on you because it's all good vibrations. Everything, when a girl is in full creation mode and she is a mode of light, and she's just attracting all that good stuff, and she's also protecting herself from the bad stuff, it rubs off onto other people. Everything she touches turns to gold. That is basically what it means to be a girl in a lot of ways. Whether it's our presence in someone's life in itself is a gift, or whether it's our presence in a boardroom, it's a gift. We make millions. Statistically, startups that are run by women actually break even faster than startups run by men, yet women startups get less funding on average. They get like less than 2% as of, I think, 2019, roughly. What's most important is being aware when someone is imprinting their own limitations onto you. We also covered just a moment ago why that could happen, the societal structures in place, the interpersonal relationships in place, and sometimes it's not always malicious as well. Sometimes people just can't help it. I think it's now time to also get into another part of the curse of being multifaceted as a woman and multi-passionate, and that is to talk about origin stories. Like, why does someone glow up? What are the motivations? And I think we should really get into revenge stories, low-key. I have the ultimate academic revenge story. Like, I can totally, like, set the stage, bring you right there. Let me go ahead and put a little facial spray on real quick, because I'm going to keep it really simple tonight since I'm staying up late to talk to you guys. But basically, When I was in middle school, precursor, when I was in elementary school, middle school, a little bit of high school, I was a really bad student. I was really not, I was really struggling academically, like really, really bad. Like, I don't know if I can fit as many reallys in it. I was a really bad student. I had a lot of mental health issues going on. I'm on the right medication now. I'm very happy to be where I am mental health wise. I still struggle with mental health. I definitely know for a fact that when I was really young, I definitely had clinical, like actual diagnosable depression. But who's going to diagnose like an 8-year-old with depression? Exactly. We can't do that. I experienced a lot of trauma in my life, and I took it out on the people around me. And I was just overall really bad student. I had a really bad maladaptive daydreaming disorder where I was basically unable to communicate with people in the outside world. I just talked to myself a lot. Otherwise, let me get into it. Basically, I had a teacher. Should I name him? I know his first and last name. I know how many kids he has. I know about his wife because he talked about it a lot. And we went to one of those charter schools where basically the teachers will wear no shoes and strum the guitar, and we'd grade our own tests, and it was all woo woo. You know, it was one of those schools where like we didn't have homework and grades didn't matter. Which, if I am ever cursed to have children someday, I will not let that slide. They will not be going to a school like that. Not at all. Nope. I'm not gonna let that happen. Just from my experience, because sometimes kids need structure. Anyway, he was at wit's end. He wasn't a good teacher. He wasn't very patient with me. And then I was really struggling so much. And then I went to high school and I got better. I started performing really well academically. Things were looking up. I was driving. I was still like a little finicky because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still talking to myself. I'm still bad at eye contact, but I was so much better mental health wise. I met him again. I met this teacher again at a middle school reunion, which was a bad idea because it was so bonkers. Because my school is being torn down for apartment buildings, which I feel like is just karma. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, ear essay. I'm so sorry. But yeah, karma. But basically, he actually admitted to me. He's like, Mila, I actually gave up on you. I know, shocker. Now I know, according to my therapist, that is something that would get a teacher fired if he said that to a student. But here it gets worse. He's like, I gave up on you. And you think, Mila, that you're doing well now. And you're doing well. But once the real world hits you, it's going to hit you like a brick, like a moving freight train. You're not going to make it outside of high school. I don't think you're going to make it. I was like 15, 16. To have a teacher from me in middle school say that to me. Rancid, deplorable, disgusting. Yeah, that's right, Tony. Yeah, you and your 5 head. Tyra Banks taught me one thing, and that was how to insult people the right way. No, I'm kidding. Not really. I think that girls have the ability. Since we're trained to basically be so social so young, I feel like we have the ability to ruin someone's self-esteem in 5 syllables or less, just give or take. We can do it. I know we can. But we just choose not to. I feel like we're all capable of it. But that was terrible and that broke me, but I was so unaware of how much that broke me in high school. I didn't realize it till I was older now that was my motivation to get shit done, to get my shit together, even more than it already was. And here's the thing, is back then, I thought I had my shit together. I was like, girl, I'm driving. I am the founder of 2 clubs on campus. I'm a straight A 4.0 student. I got it undercover. And basically, that wasn't impressing him enough. He's like, he didn't give a shit. And the whole point of that was revenge. I wanted revenge story. I wanted to come back better than ever to prove someone wrong. And in that state, that blew up in my face. And this is a learning opportunity for a lot of people. That is, sometimes people just do not like you. Sometimes people just do not want you to succeed. And they're meant to be left in the past. And do not bring them forward. Do not give them space in your mind or heart. They are not allowed there. I will not allow that to happen. Do not do that, whatever you do. Because I can guarantee you that the whole, revenge globe, coming back better than ever, making them regret everything, that's fiction. That's not going to happen. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, look, she's posting like an influencer. They're going to find another way to not like you. They're going to find another way to not like you. And sometimes there's just people that generally just want to be haters because they got nothing going on for them, low key. Like, they don't have a hobby. While we have hobbies, low key. And that's why I have this podcast. No, I'm kidding. No. And the worst part is that if you do a revenge story as your origin, as your motivation for your glow up, you're basically having them be the seed to your tree. You're accrediting them. You're giving them credit. The people who wronged you, you're giving them credit for all this work you put into yourself. And then that in itself is throwing it away. Do not do it. You should always do it for you. You need to be selfish. This is for you. The self-improvement's for you. If you want to lose weight, it's for you. If you want to grow your hair out to your bum, it's for you. If you want to clear your skin, get your teeth whiter, it's for you. If you want to start going to bed early, it's for you. If you want to write that book, start that TV show, produce that, movie on your own on a shoestring budget, you want to start that business, you want to start that podcast, do it for you. Do it for you. You want to start that club. You want to write that book. Do it for you. Always. Gosh darn. Do it for you. In all seriousness, do it for you. End of story. Now let's get into other motivations that can lead to a glow up besides what I told you. There's different types of glow ups. I feel like, honestly, a glow up in general, especially on your quest to being a multi-passionate, high-achieving girl, especially when you're young, is the fact that it's not just about looks. And I really, really hate how toxic glow up culture has got, where now we have these calendars and these lists and these very key time frames, like glow up in 3 weeks, glow up in 3 months, glow up in 2 weeks, glow up in 2 minutes. And I'm like, no, you understand. It's like a diet. It's like diet culture, where original diet culture was not built on long-lasting techniques and long-lasting philosophies on food and life. Instead, it was like short time, for a year, for a few months, then you stop cold turkey on this really restrictive routine, and then you might just gain all the weight back. I think that's the same with glowing up, and that is if we try and do this regime where we are doing this really extreme like self-care routine, this really extreme mindset on like what success looks like for us, waking up early, going to bed late, going to bed whatever, having that social life. For some of us that's not apparent. For some of us that's like not like clocking. For some of us we can't do that. And to have us cut cold turkey after a few months, what's going to stick? What have we learned? Glow ups come from within. They require something deep inside you to come from within. They require that motivation. They require that story, your why, your who, your how, your center of self. You developing your self-identity is more important than developing your brand. I can almost guarantee that. Self-identity is important. Most people do not have the privilege to know exactly who they are in the context of where they are. Does that make sense? That self-awareness is a virtue and it's a gift, and it's a privilege at the same time. Not a lot of people are good at that, knowing that. But I feel like whether it's academic, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, whether it's social, or whether even it's through career or just a general life upgrade, because I really want to use terms like life upgrade on this podcast, self-improvement-ish, but I want to use glow up and life leveling up, because I feel like that's a little bit more centered, and I want to create this new 2.0 of Girl Boss that is still admitting fault, that is letting you be human, and is not encouraging this hierarchy of perpetuating exclusivity. I want to be a no to that. No no's to that. Let's not encourage that. And I do want to talk a little bit about manifestation, but I don't want the podcast episodes overall to rely heavily on it, because I don't want to alienate people. So I'm trying to find my own language of like, how can I express being delulu and disciplined, which might actually, now that I think about it, just be its own publication on my Substack. One of the dangers I feel like when it comes to certain things is I feel like when we're on our self-improvement journey, we should talk to humans. We should not use ChatGPT. And I think ChatGPT can be used for a lot of things. I don't think ChatGPT can be used for basically the self-improvement journey. And I actually have a really cool article on how people are using AI to glow up. It's for free on my Substack called The Desktop Vanity. It's from September. It's completely free. It's really interesting. It gets heavy real quick, talking about the not social awareness of ChatGPT and how it's discriminatory, and also how it collapses the journey of self-development and critical thinking that basically takes away the neural pathways that we get to learn as we get older. I don't know if I ended up talking about critical thinking. I think that was a previous thing. Might be getting some episodes confused. But if you also want to talk about other things that have to do with self-improvement, check out the Desktop Vanity and of course the Girls Who Get What They Want Substack. It has its own little section, so it's going to have its own archive where I'm going to basically take the podcast episodes that aren't research recaps, and I'm going to divulge them into like little mini articles that are like 5-minute reads. And hopefully that will help. Also, everything on my Substack is free now. Like the archive is free. I decided to make whatever is on the Substack free for 6 months. So every time a post is posted, 6 months. It has 6 months till it goes under a paywall. Especially if you want to vote on potential topics and everything like that, do follow the Substack and comment on any of the Girls Who Get What They Want posts, and you can help me vote and come up with stuff, because you don't know if something that you comment will lead to my next podcast episode concept that's not research recaps. Okay. Peace and love, and remember, you can get the life you want. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Mwah.